He signed at Tennessee to be a 4-3 defensive end. And probably based off the skill set, we've added some weight to him, and the guy has done everything that we've asked him to do. The next young man is Eli Wolf. The first time I met Eli, I was standing in Smokies, and Miss Millie and her crew, they done a fantastic job in Smokies. She's got it ready, rocking and rolling in there every day. But I look over there to my right, and there's Eli, and I ask him, because I'm thinking he might either be a manager or he might be an athletic trainer. I said, what position do you play? He said, Coach, I'm a tight end. I said, really? I said, you can block one of these SEC, guys that's going to play in the Sierra 6 technique or somebody? He said, I don't know about that, Coach, but I can run a 4-5. I said, well, if you're going to play tight end for us, you're going to have to learn to block. Well, I will say this about Eli. He went out there. He's gained 20 pounds since January. He won the most improved player on our offensive side of the ball in the spring. He competed, and he's also a business major. Marquez Callaway. Marquez is right here from Macon, Georgia. He's one of 14 young men from the state of Georgia that are on our football team. Marquez is a communications major. He's a junior. I think he's been a great representative of the university, and we're excited to have him here. Our guys have worked extremely hard since we've arrived in Knoxville. Coach Fitz in the weight room has a plan. Our guys have bought in 100%. All we've had to do is define it for them, and these guys have tried to do everything that we've asked them to do. We're excited about how hard they're working this summer, the direction we're going. Our guys have done a really nice job for us, recruiting for us. I think it says a lot about our football team and the young men there. We've only had 2 people to leave our program since I've been at Tennessee, and both young men came to me the day that I got the job and said they elected to transfer. Since then, we've not had anybody else. That's very unusual in a coaching change. I think our guys are excited, they're hungry, and can't wait to get the season started. Right now for us, there's lots of unknowns. We had 12 young men who did not participate in spring football because some sort of injury. We have 15 newcomers, whether they're a junior college guy or they're a freshman, and we have 3 grad transfers. So there's 30 guys that didn't participate in spring ball. Well, now that we've got everybody here, I'm excited about it because we now have competition. And I think we'll get the best out of everybody in our program, and we're ready to get started. We opened the season with West Virginia. Tremendous opponent in Charlotte. I think it's great for our program. We're 3 hours from Charlotte. We have a lot of alumni that live in that area. We recruit the state of North Carolina. I think the same thing could be said about West Virginia. We're excited about that. And then, of course, we'll worry about the rest of our season from there on. I know in the SEC there's fantastic coaches, fantastic programs, great players. The passion. I've been in the league long enough. A lot of parity. It's very competitive. It's hard to win in this league. Hard to win. You got to do things the right way all the time, and that's our go. So with that, I will take any questions.
All right, thank you, Coach Pruitt. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. We're going to start over here on our right side, here in the middle. Go ahead and stand, please, and give your name and affiliation.
Coach, Lucas Panzika, WDKN Radio in Dixon. The last 10 years, you talk a lot about Tennessee, bringing them back to the 90s. The last 10 years with the struggles of Tennessee football and the coaching search leading up to your hire, how do you assess the state of the program you're walking into?
Well, the only thing I can assess is the last 6 months. I wasn't at Tennessee the last 10 years. I've been there for 6 months, and right now I'd say that from the top down, from the boosters, the fan base, the players, everybody involved in the program, we're all running in the same direction, and we're running as fast as we can. So I think that's what it takes, and that's all we're worried about.
Coach, we'll go down front left.
Morning, Coach Pruitt. Kerry Clark with Starkville Daily News and Tyler Insider. You probably know more about Anthony Jennings than most any other head coach in the SEC. Tell us a little bit about what you remembered from him during the time you coached him as a player and as a person.
You said who now?
Jennings.
Anthony Jennings.
Okay, I got you. Hey, guy's smart. He's tough. Comes from a good family. Very instinctive, and wished he was on our team.
All right, we'll stay down here with Ron in the front row.
Yeah, Ron Higgins, Noel.com, the Times-Picayune. Jeremy, how do you go about reestablishing, I guess, in-state recruiting to the point where it's Tennessee is the top choice of in-state recruits? Because when a program struggles, other schools come in and take players. How do you kind of go back and turn back the other way?
Well, I think it's important in recruiting is the first thing is you got to be organized in the recruiting process. You got to understand what you're looking for at each position. You got to have critical factors that are important to you. It's important, at some positions there's a size or speed criteria. And then you just talk about, to me, probably the most important thing is what kind of character do they have, what kind of effect do they have on their teammates, how do they handle adversity. So I think it's definitely important to recruit our state, but I think when you look at the power of the T, it's a national brand, and you have an opportunity to go anywhere in the country and everybody knows what Tennessee's all about. But whether it's in our state, somebody else's state, I think it's important that we get the right players that fit us.
Coach, we'll go over to the right in the black shirt.
Zach Al-Khatib, Sporting News. Coach, you've been a part of a lot of championship programs with Nick Saban at Alabama, Jimbo Fisher at Florida State. Have you asked them for any advice in your move to Tennessee? And if so, what advice did they give you? And did you take any lessons from them as part of their staffs?
You think Coach Saban's going to give me some advice? One thing that, there's all of us in the league, we all have known each other probably for a while. Some of us when we were assistant coaches, and now I get an opportunity now. It's probably you better write down everything you can. You better take it all in while you have the opportunity, because as soon as you go put on the other uniform, I can guarantee everybody, even though everybody's friends, we want to beat the other guy. So we don't want to give the other person an edge.
All right, we'll stay right in front of you near the back. Jean Marie.
Adam Sparks, a Tennessean. Jeremy, historically, Tennessee coaches have controlled the Vanderbilt series. Lately, that's not been the case. Vandy's won 4 out of the last 6. I know it's not the Iron Bowl, but it is an in-state rivalry. What's your thoughts on the importance of controlling that in-state series?
Well, I think there's obviously natural rivalries in this conference. You talk about Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama. Years ago there was Tennessee, Auburn. We actually play all those guys this year. When another team is beating you on a regular basis, it don't seem like the rivalry is that probably thick anymore. So one thing that we got to do is we got to do our part, and I think we will when it comes to that.
Okay, we'll go back here to the right side in the white shirt, around the other side. There you go.
Ben Jones from the Tuscaloosa News. I'm curious what you felt like the greatest source of pressure was for you when you were a college football player, and maybe what the greatest source of pressure is for players now.
The greatest source of pressure? Well, I think a lot of guys, probably the great ones, they put more pressure on themselves than they receive from anybody else. We had a talk the other day of everybody has fear, so what's your fears? Probably Coach Friend was doing the talk. He's talking about his fears were of failure and not providing for his family or something. So there's other guys in the room that kind of talked about it, but I think the pressure comes from within. So I think it motivates a lot of the great ones.
Hey, Coach, we'll go over here to our left, about 3/4 of the way back.
Coach, Mark A. Lewine with the FWAA. You had some strong words for the fan base after the orange and white game back in the spring. What kind of response and feedback have you gotten since then?
Well, I think the last time I checked, somebody was keeping numbers on how many fans were at the spring game, right? Well, our goal at Tennessee is to be the very best in everything that we do. And we have phenomenal fans, phenomenal. When I tell you everywhere I've been, I mean, I couldn't ask for more information or